Ron Rivera spoke 3 o'clock today. You'll be able to hear that weekly on Chris Russell's show here on the Team 980. We'll have Rivera live off the top of the show many weeks on Wednesdays, his 4 o'clock press conference. So you can look forward to that. Of course, we will have anything that breaks out of that press conference no matter what. The big question today, though, after Rivera got to watch the tape is, okay, well, what'd you think of your quarterback's performance? So, Ron, what did you make of Sam Howell?
It's one of those things where you're never as bad as you think and never as good as you think. You know, there are some really good things that happened. There was some really good rhythm stuff that was on. And then there were some things that were just kind of like, ooh, why'd you do that? You know, so I know he spent time this morning looking at the tape, sitting down with EB and Tavita and Kenny and going over those things and just kind of getting a little, corrections on those things.
And that's the thing, like, it's going to be a process. It's not as bad as some people thought. It's not as, like, I don't know. I mean, it seems like the haters were out in mass where it was like everyone thought he sucks all of a sudden. It's like, no, he's just young and he's going to learn and there's going to be bumps along the way. If you were disappointed in Sam Howell, that says something about your expectations more than it does Sam Howell. But if you look at the performance in a vacuum, like, there's a lot of good stuff there. There's also some really consequential bad stuff, and cleaning that up is obviously imperative to winning games in the NFL. As for the sacks specifically, how did those go down? There were 6 of them, so a variety of reasons. Here's Rivera.
Well, pretty much what you talked about. You know, there are a couple things that for us, we missed a protection. You know, we thought something was going to happen, and because of that, we came off a switch too soon. And then we actually had one where we had a little foot traffic and one of our guys got tripped up. And then a couple times we probably should have gotten rid of the ball. And so it's a combination of things. It's all things that are correctable, all things that we should get better with, and we expect to get better with.
In terms of getting rid of the ball, obviously, I think that I felt that during the game. I was like, some of these he's holding the ball for a long time. There's got to be a way out, which is weird because normally his clock is so good. I mean, you think about the red zone stuff where he's able to get out and he scrambles and he makes a play and you're like, oh, that's pretty special. He's clearly got a great feel for the game in a lot of respects. But our guy, Mark Bullock, who does a great job breaking down the X's and O's on his Substack, obviously used to write for The Athletic, used to write for The Washington Post, now doing the Substack game. And Bullock did a good job in his breakdown today of Howell's performance, talking about how the interception, which seems like just a silly, unlucky play, is actually a bit on Howell for not getting the ball out in time. And it's one of those classic things you hear about college quarterbacks shifting to the NFL. In college, you can see the throw. You wait on it, you see it, you make it to an open receiver. In the NFL, you have to anticipate a little bit more because the windows close quicker, and obviously the pass rush is a little more heated. And Jahan on that play runs an out-up stop. So think of, your classic corner post kind of out and up, double move situation, except for as the safety starts to turn and run to stay on top of it, you just stop and you're like 18, 20 yards down the field in the middle of a wide open zone. And if that ball gets delivered on time, you can catch the ball, turn and run probably. But that window is going to close quickly, and obviously the pass rush is going to be coming because that is a long developing route. To hit a double move and then be able to put on the brakes and get out of that break in time to get your head up and hands up, that's a 3-second situation for sure. And Sam waits until Jahan is coming open and stopping as opposed to anticipating, seeing that the window was going to be there. And that's the difference in getting the throw off and the pass rush getting home. And ultimately, that pick happens, yes, due to bad luck, but also because he could have gotten it out earlier, and the pass rush affects the throw, and ultimately that's what tips it, is a pass rusher in his face, where it would have been clean and had been released a half second earlier. So those are the margins in the NFL. Good reminder. And, if he hits that, again, they're trucking in that first half. They had a lot of stopping themselves, a lot of unforced errors, I would say, in that first half, from Gibson's fumble to, which is a bit of a forced error. It's a good play by Arizona. Howell's fumble is a total unforced error, and the interception, if you want to chalk it up to what I just described, is an unforced error because there's nothing that stopped him from getting the ball out that half second sooner with a little more anticipation outside of his own lack of experience and understanding of that particular play. The one thing, though, that is really tremendous from Howell that you do see is he just doesn't quit. And that drive at the end of the second, or the end of the second quarter, into the first half, is Exhibit A, is as Exhibit A gets, as good as it gets of an example of just, I just made a boneheaded play. Now I'm going to go out and just drill throws. And he comes out in that 2-minute situation and absolutely lasers some balls. Phenomenal stuff. And it just goes to this like resilience that he has. And Ron talked about that today as well, how his quarterback, despite all the mistakes, was able to continuously bounce back.
Well, that's one of the resilience about him. I think it is really kind of a little bit of a trademark of his, how tough he is. He is a tough young man. He took a couple of big shots yesterday. And one of the things he's got to learn is you can't leave yourself exposed like he did. And he'll learn that, and hopefully he'll learn that quickly.
Yes. He's going to wake up today feeling very sore. And he's going to go, I don't think I want to do this again. Big win, obviously, yesterday for Washington, one you kind of got to have. And Jon Allen this morning on the Junkies said, week one always is a must win, but especially against Arizona. Here's the big fellow who had the game-winning sack on with the morning show.
Well, no, this is definitely a must win. Just got the fans back on board, sold out home opener. This was a good opportunity to, kick off the season right, get the fans into it for the rest of the season. So we looked at the game like we need this win. In the NFL, you never know how the season goes, so you can't take any team for granted. And I just kind of tried to remind the guys that, when we played the Steelers on Monday night in 2020, I'm pretty sure they weren't looking at us as a serious threat when they were 11-0, and we won. So, you just got to remind the guys that a lot of times, just because of what people say on the outside, that should have no impact on what you do on the field. So, luckily, we came out there and we made a lot of mistakes, but we did what we had to do to win the game. And at the end of the day, that's what's important.
So, Anthony, my question is, if they can go and beat Denver, what is the crowd going to be like week 3 if they're facing Buffalo and they've got a chance to go 3-0?
I mean, I wouldn't say the Raiders' defense is as good as, the Commanders. So I like our chances. So for us to be 2-0, I think a lot of people will come out for that week 3 game against Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo is as good as it gets in the NFL. Even if you don't want to necessarily see the Commanders and you want to see another good team in, the Bills, you still want to come out. And it might not just be Commanders fans. It might be, some Raven fans, or I don't know. But I think it's going to be jam-packed either way. And
it's already close to a sellout.
And their fans travel.
Yeah, and there's no doubt there's going to be a ton of Bills fans there because they travel and they've bought tickets a long time ago. And, that is what it is. Buffalo is going to be in any stadium in the country. But, man, if they can get
2-0, baby.
Especially if Buffalo wins its first 2, and obviously they've got New York tonight.
Yeah. Well, I don't need them to win tonight. They can go 1-1.
It's gonna be fire. And then obviously the next home game after that's the Thursday nighter, where they got Chicago coming to town. So it's gonna be that one was so important because now even if you go beat Denver, let's say, and then you lose to the Bills, you lose to the Eagles, you come back and you're 2-2 going into Falcons, Giants, and then home against Philly. They've got a chance to kind of be in it. That's why week 1 is so important because you bought yourself at least till week 4 of being within one game of 500, if not better than that. Obviously, you win week 2 and you're up 2 on that even mark for the year, and you don't have to be that far above it to make the playoffs, and that's just NFL history talking.
Quick question, Chris: do you like trap games? Because I feel like
depends on which side of the trap I'm on. Am I the trapper or the trapped?
The trapper.
I mean, honestly, not really, because then you're the worst team. And so, you might think we got him. It's a trap game. And the next thing you look up and it's like, nope, we just got curb stomped. We got trapped in a false sense of security.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man.
Being the underdog is fine. If you've convinced yourself that it's a trap game for them, you're not in the right headspace. You need to be like, nobody believes in us. Not everyone's picking us because it's a trap game.
I mean, that's what I think of the week 3 game. But hey, we'll see.
We'll see.
This is the Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and the Odyssey app.